Hello! Hello everybody, good morning, selamat pagi, ohayo! I'm NIJISANJI's virtual host and idol in training as Cornelia. And my voice is really scrunkly. It's the morning voice? But I hope I'm audible enough? Am I? Hi, hello everybody. Is the voice balance okay between the BGM and my voice? Oh yeah, I forgot to turn off the echo on the mic. I'm so sorry. Not professional of me. I'm so sorry. So, I don't know if this is a thing outside of the outside of Indonesia, but usually no, it's a must that before you graduate and get your bachelor's degree here to have a thesis defense. So if I remember correctly, usually it's optional, so you don't have to have a thesis defense outside. I don't know like the details, but in Indonesia it's a must unless you're from arts or other stuffs that are usually like you have to present another kind of work instead of a thesis. In Brazil, it's a must also. Nice to hear that this is not the only place where you have to defend your life to the end, to the bitter end. Yeah. So whenever you want to graduate here in Indonesia, you have to do a thesis defense in which your last research on a specific topic on your major in college, you have to present it to several seniors, professors, professionals, and they will proceed to comment on your research, and they will decide whether or not you will pass. You can think of this as my thesis defense. No, that's actually pretty scary. I don't want to think of it that way, because if I do think of it that way, I would be too nervous. So anyways, today I'm gonna be talking about a hot topic. Ta-da! Parasocial breakup. But what is that, Zia Cornelia? Well, it's the thing that happens when your favorite series stops airing, finished airing, or your favorite idol group disband, or your favorite VTuber graduates. I will explain about it in a sec, but let's review a little bit about parasocial relationship. So, first of all, disclaimer, Zia is not a professional. This term is created to spread awareness about parasocial relationship and parasocial breakup. If you need anything that is will need more than just a self-researched, self-taught person, please contact a professional for more information and consultations if needed. So, putting that aside, let's review a little bit. What is a parasocial relationship? If you haven't heard my previous presentation about parasocial relationship, there's a link to it in my description currently. I rewatched my own presentation and I feel that it was a little bad. I don't know what's wrong with me, my brain, or my English at the time, but it was so bad. But I think midway, halfway through, it's pretty much understandable. So I hope you guys don't mind skipping a little bit and get straight to the business in my previous stream. But I'm going to re-explain it. This is like the very basic term of what a parasocial relationship is. So parasocial interaction and parasocial relationship refers to a one-sided interaction and relationship a person builds and feels towards fictional characters and or media personalities. And this term is coined in 1956, which is how many years ago? 70-ish? 80 years ago? So it's not a new term, despite what people seem to make it sound like. people keep on making it sound like this is a new thing. This is a VTuber thing. No, it's a long-running thing. It's been researched way before this whole thing even started to trend, VTubers. So it's nothing new. Back in the days when there wasn't even TVs for most people, then it's radio shows. People listen to radio and they feel a parasocial relationship towards the radio hosts. And then after television, to the actors in the movies or the hosts in a TV show, and so on and so forth. And nowadays, it's most commonly between a content creator, to be more specific, streamers and their viewers. So the parasocial interaction is this one-sided interaction. It feels like an interaction, but it's not a genuine interaction. For example, like this. This is an interaction. I am reading your comments and you are commenting, and I'm reading your comments. I am replying to your comments, but it's quite one-sided really, because I'm mostly doing all the talking and I choose which comments to read, and I don't actually know you. I don't actually see you either. So it's kind of one-sided. Yeah, it's mostly me. Just like a TV show, kind of. Yeah, are you reading this? I am. Well, parasocial relationship is the result of the parasocial interaction. After several interactions and us building a certain emotional attachment and or perception towards that character or media personality, we start to have this one-sided relationship, which is the parasocial relationship. And that's the gist of it. I hope it's easy to digest. Yeah, I'm inside your walls. You can hear me in your head all the time, but that's one-sided. Or is it? Or is it the one cub mind? But anyway, that's just the gist of it. Like the more detailed version, the more detailed explanations about parasocial relationship is in my previous stream about parasocial relationship. So please check that out too if you're interested. But for now, we're gonna move on. So, what does relationships normally provides us with? You might say, in a more romantic relationship, then it's comfort. But I think any kind of relationship will provide us with at least these four aspects, which is presence, the presence of somebody else alongside us, so that we don't feel lonely. Yeah. And then second of all, well, this one specifically, I think no, actually it's in all kinds of relationship, a sense of belonging. When you have a close relationship with your family, you feel like you belong in the family. When you have a circle of friends, then you have a sense of belonging towards the circle of friends. And in a parasocial relationship, let's say a community, let's say VTuber fans, then you have a sense of belonging in that community, in the VTuber community, in the VTuber fans community. So specifically the community affiliation, I think it works more, it works better on like streamers and fandoms maybe. But sense of belonging, it's in all kinds of relationship, it gives you that, you know? Yeah. And then the third is emotional engagement. Like I said before, any kind of relationship, why we feel like we have some kind of relationship with somebody, even if they're fictional, is because we are emotionally engaged. So we feel a kind of emotional connection or response towards that specific media character, or with an actor. Yeah. And the last is a motivational model, as in when you look up to somebody, you automatically think that you kind of want to be them, or you kind of want to start like consciously, unconsciously, you want to follow in their footsteps. For example, if you like idols, then you would want to be able to sing. You would want to be able to look slim and pretty. Or in Instagram models and stuff. I think that it happens a lot in Instagram, really. Like, you look up to somebody's account and you feel like their life is perfect and you want to be them. So you start following whatever tips they give. Like, oh, they eat like this. Oh, they exercise like this. I think it also works the same. With Instagram influencers, in any social media, influencers basically are parasocial relationships and parasocial interactions, really. Some people thought that, oh, it's just VTubers because VTubers are fictional. But Instagram influencers are also fictional, and your relationship with them is also kind of fictional. So they are also part of parasocial relationships. So yeah, these 4 things. With parasocial relationship and with normal relationship, we get these 4 automatically when we have a relationship, a close relationship with somebody, right? Yeah, like the way they talk. Like, when you like someone, sometimes you realize that you start talking a little bit like them. Whether it's the sound of your voice or the way you talk, you get really influenced, right? That's an example of that too. So, and why would I explain about this? Well, I'm gonna tell you guys in a sec. So, well, we talked about parasocial interactions and parasocial relationships, but building and having a relationship would mean that eventually it has to end, because nothing lasts forever. So, as I have explained before, parasocial relationships lack a lot of different components that would makes other normal social relationships. But emotionally, in the emotional aspects, the ones I've explained before, they seem to be pretty much similar. So emotionally, both parasocial relationship and normal social relationships, they share similar aspects emotionally. So, and this is just an extra info, but I find it really important. So, people who desire intense romantic relationship are also reported to having the strongest kind of parasocial relationships or feelings. Interesting, right? Because we all know that a certain way of catering to an audience is to have like a fictional romantic relationship with them, like the girlfriend-boyfriend experience. I think this kind of explains why it works. Not just because people want it. It's just basically this is science, yeah, psychology. Because of there's like attachment styles and motivational stuff that is included in the explanation, but that would take a really long while. But people who desire intense romantic relationships would be the most vulnerable to having the most intense parasocial relationships too. So that's the correlation. So what makes this really bad is because of the emotional components of a normal and a parasocial relationships are similar, they also have a similar significant effect. It could have. It doesn't always, but it could have similar significant effects. So, let me explain about the main title of the whole stream. First of all, what is a parasocial breakup? So basically, yeah, it's the moment where your favorite character, favorite TV show, favorite actor stopped going on air. They go off air, whether it's because the show stopped, whether it's because it's a character death, whether it's because the actors stopped acting, or it's of your own volition. Even when you choose to stop the relationship, for example, I don't quite like VTubers anymore, so I don't think I'm gonna watch VTubers anymore, and then you decide to stop watching. That also counts as a parasocial breakup. Yeah. So there are more studies that comes up that describes parasocial relationships, and they describe it in a way that it operates very closely, very similarly to just everyday real life normal relationships. So when you end a relationship, we all know that it will cause you some problems. So ending a very close social relationship, whether it's romantic or with a very long time friend or even a family, because anything could happen, yeah? It's a common reason that leads to depression, and it is a common reason why people would go seek psychological counseling. So parasocial relationship, at this point we all know that it's not the same as a real relationship. It looks similar, it feels similar, but it's not quite real, and I know that most people grasp that concept. So it could result in less trauma and stress than when ending like real close relationships. But for some people, the stress of a parasocial breakup could just be as extreme. It depends on the intensity of the relationship itself. Intensity. Let's underline this. Some people, well, I'm gonna explain this later in more details. So, because it's similar, how parasocial breakup and like other relationships breakup works pretty similarly. Usually, in a romantic relationship, one side is unprepared, right? Like, it's rare to have a romantic relationship end in a way that both agree at the same time. It's always gonna be mostly somebody starts talking about breaking up first. Somebody's gonna mention it, and then it becomes a topic. It's not gonna be like at the same time they're both are like, hey, let's end this. Oh yeah, I was thinking about that too. And it doesn't work like that. Usually somebody starts the talk, you know, and it would catch one side unprepared, and that's why it has such a heavy burden on the heart. But it's different with parasocial relationship in a way that everything is updated on the internet now. Like, you don't even have to specifically search for your for news, but it's gonna pass through your timeline, especially if it's trending enough. So usually before a show ends or somebody graduates, we would know way before, like long before, we would already know that it's already there's already going to be a lot of either rumors or confirmations or announcements. So it's preceded by long periods of preparation. So this is important because this preparation period is likely to reduce the stress of the breakup, because you know that it's ending. You kind of prepare yourself for it to end, so it is less stressing compared to like normal relationships. Yeah, like season finale, like when you know that it's a season finale, you know it's gonna end. You know how when VTubers graduate, they usually announce it a month before or even more. Yeah, something like that. I also think that it's an important buffer period for people to actually start coping and accepting reality. So yeah, I think this buffer period is really important in lessening that impact of the breakup, you know, of the goodbye. Yeah. So, next up. So, what would make a person's reactions towards a parasocial breakup even worse or less worse? So there are 4 main aspects based on this one article. I still haven't found, it's interesting, but I haven't found newer articles talking about parasocial relationship and breakups after 2019. Maybe I just haven't dug deep enough, but after the C period, the pandemic period, like there are more talks about parasocial relationship, but not as much talks about parasocial breakups, like research. So, an interesting field if any of you guys are interested. So there are 4 factors that contributes to how heavy a person feels during parasocial breakup. First of all is the commitment. So, when you start watching somebody, when you start subscribing maybe, you kind of have this little commitment, yeah? Like you subscribe usually because you kind of want to follow them. And for some people that feeling is bigger than others. Some people just kind of subscribe and watch out of, hey, this girl is interesting, I kind of want to see more of them. And up to like there's also a level where people go like, okay, I love this girl and I will follow her everywhere forever. If she sells her merch, I'm gonna buy everything. If she goes live, I'm gonna go wherever she's gonna go. Kind of feeling. The level of commitment obviously is going to reflect to their reactions during the breakup, right? It's kind of how in a normal relationship too. Some people are committed, like they are aiming for marriage, and then some people go into a relationship just wanting to have fun. It's kind of similar in that way, right? The bigger the commitment, the bigger the disappointment. Next up is affinity, is how much you like the show or the character, how much you think about it, how much you research them. Like, do you open their wiki and actually try to know everything about them? How much you relate to them? Like, do you think you are a kinny to them? Like, do you kin them? Do you feel like you relate to them so much? Like, oh my god, Cornelia is like this clumsy idiot character. I like her, she's so me. She's like my spirit animal kind of thing, kind of feeling. Yeah. So, of course, the more you like them, the more you relate to them, the more you know about them, the more heavier the hit is gonna be. Next up, and this is very interesting too. I find this to be very interesting, but in the start of a relationship or during a relationship, usually how you perceive your partner is important. Like how you see them. Do you think they're handsome? Do you think they're dependable? Why do you love them? Is what's important. But during the end of a relationship, during a breakup, how others perceive your partner is more important to you.
Dari pisang goreng, pesan, gak mau cerai sama Jeba.
Ya, terima kasih pisang goreng. Nanti ya kita bahas gak mau cerai. Yeah, so when you do you guys realize this? But when you break up with somebody, you're gonna care more about other people's comments than your own. Like, you're gonna ask people like, is it okay? What do you think? Like, am I doing the right thing? You're gonna ask that to people usually, not to yourself. Yeah, so breaking up with someone who's a great catch is going to be more damaging than someone less socially valued. So for example, when your friend is saying like, oh my god, you're breaking up with him? That's such a waste. You're gonna feel like, oh no, they're actually a good person and I'm breaking up with them. Like, this is bad. You know? Even though during the relationship, you form your own opinions, but in the end of a relationship, you care more about what other people think. Because probably, I think, part of the reason probably is because you're not going to be you're not going to have the same relationship with your partner, your ex-partner, but with the people around you, you're gonna still think that they're gonna perceive you as always. So you need to maintain your social standing in a way. So how you break up with people would also affect how other people sees you. So you care more about other people's reactions rather than your own feelings towards your partner. Which is interesting because this perceived popularity of your partner also works in parasocial relationships. So the more popular a character or a show is, the more heartbroken you are gonna be. You're gonna feel like, oh my god, this VTuber is graduating, she's done so much, this is so bad for the community, they deserve better. That kind of feeling, it will increase the intensity of your emotions and your reactions towards the parasocial breakup. So even if you don't actually directly follow them, like that creator, that show, that series, that actor, when something happens to them and you know that they're a big figure in the industry, in the series, in the fandom, you are going to feel a little bit of an emotional reaction whether you want to or not, right? And last is loneliness, which obviously the more lonelier the viewers are, they are more likely to be more dependent on the parasocial relationship, and hence when the parasocial breakup happens, it's going to hit harder because you're lonely. So yeah, these 4 things, it affects to how intense your reactions to a parasocial breakup is. So next up. So like I said before, there are motivations, reasons why some people would be committed to watching something, and the underlying reasons, well, there are multiple kinds of reasons. There are many kinds of motivations, even in a parasocial relationship, right? So these are like the 3 main reasons why somebody would start getting hooked on a fandom, on a show, on a VTuber, on a streamer. First of all, is ritualistic viewing. This one is characterized by habits. So you know how in the past you just turn on the TV, you don't particularly want to watch any of the shows, but you will turn on the TV anyways, and you're gonna kinda want to watch the TV a little bit. You don't really care even if you miss some details either way. So you just kinda want them on because you want to pass time, or you just want to relax and you want an extra white noise. That's ritualistic viewing. It's a habit. You watch them simply to pass time, and you don't specifically seek a specific content. I think I think with how many VTubers and live streams there are in existence in the internet, a lot of people are ritualistic viewers. They turn on YouTube and they watch this random streamer and make them their background noise. They're not particularly invested in this specific streamer or anything, but they watch them because they help them relax, or they help them pass time so that they don't feel too lonely. Yeah. And next up is instrumental viewing. Instrumental viewing is when you make the conscious decision in watching somebody and in getting invested in a fandom. It's when you are actively involved and you have a certain goal, it's your goal directed in watching their content. So these people are the people that are affected by how realistic the contents are. Are you relatable? Do you feel like this character or this show is relatable to you? Like, you have a reason, you have a commitment, you've made a commitment on watching this certain streamer, this certain show because you like them. You're actively involved, you comment, yeah? You comment and you support them. Maybe you kind of make fan arts. You are an instrumental viewer. And the last one is companionship viewing. So specifically, these are most common in people with higher levels of loneliness. So you feel like there's no one else to talk to and you feel really lonely. You start watching or following a fandom, following somebody because you need a supplement. You need something to fill your days so that you don't feel as lonely. So when you watch something out of habit, and even when you make an active choice to get involved in a fandom or something, it doesn't mean that you are lonely. You just like them, right? But specifically in companionship viewing, it's because you are lonely, you have a specific content you want to follow and you keep on following them because they're kind of your social supplement. Yeah. Now, between these three, please guess which is the least affected with the parasocial breakup and which is the most heavily affected by a parasocial breakup. I think it's a pretty easy guess, yeah? Right? Yeah, obviously. We least for one and most for three. Yeah, exactly. For ritualistic viewers, you're gonna take some hits, but it's not going to hit you as hard as the other two. People who are actively involved and you have a specific goal where you want to watch or follow that person, you're gonna get harder hits, harder reactions from a parasocial breakup, and obviously the third one is going to be the most severe. Because then, if you have this breakup, if you end this show, this relationship with this character, then you're going to have a hole. That is, you need to fill it again because you're lonely. Right? So, which one are you? And how are you gonna cope with it? So, this is interesting, but with how technology and entertainment, how far it has gone nowadays, I feel like, and not only me, by the way, researchers also feel like the definition, the limitations, that line between a parasocial relationship and a social relationship is becoming more and more blurred. Well, I think it's even more prevalent now, but it has even been theorized in the past. You see, 1984 by, I don't know how to read that name, Coffee. Koei. I don't know how to read their name, but even in 1985, a researcher has already said that, well, the distinction between real and imaginary relationships is in fact illusory. So it is true that with a social relationship, the person exists and we face them like face to face. Like with family, with friends, we meet them, we interact with them, we actually have a back and forth. But most of those relationships actually happen inside our heads. I'm pretty sure we spend more times thinking about the interactions and rehearsing or imagining about our conversations, reenacting what has happened or even what hasn't happened inside our head, because we are trying to seek for a meaning, we try to make sense, we try to understand, and that's how we form like a kind of impression, image, or relationship with them, right? But that's exactly how parasocial relationships also work. You see a character and you start forming your opinions on them, you start thinking about them, most of the things, the interactions you have are probably part of your reenactment inside your head, trying to make sense of them. And hence, there's a parasocial relationship. The only difference really is when you are with family and friends, you actually meet them, hence the back and forth. But with the parasocial relationship, you don't kind of have that back and forth. But can we actually say that with streaming? Because we are actually interacting. I am reading your comments, so that line is getting even more blurry. So one might say, for a social relationship, the range of relationship partners we have includes people who are real, but our relationships with them are imaginary. So if even the relationship we have with the people around us are kind of imaginary, what about the relationships we have with fictional characters? Isn't it just as real, if not as imaginary? Right? Right. So, I'm not saying that, oh no, parasocial relationship is the same with a social relationship then. No, I still think that it is kind of different in a way that, yes, when you meet somebody and you have an actual back and forth face to face, it would be easier for them to actually correct your misconceptions, whatever you have in your head. Although some people have a weirder preconceptions in their head that are harder to fix, but it's still possible. While in a parasocial relationship, there is no way I can actually control and influence whatever you think about me. Like, as a public figure, I might say, no matter what I say on stream, you will have some kind of a unique perception inside your head, and there is no way I would know what that is, and there is no way I can actually correct all of you one by one. I can't actually reach you guys and talk to you face to face, so that is not possible, right? Yeah. It's different, so yeah, parasocial relationship and social relationship is different. But subjectively, especially emotionally, it's very real. It is. So, the reason why whenever there's your favorite series ending, or your favorite actor stopped acting, or your favorite VTuber graduates, the reason why it hurts so much is because emotionally, it feels like you're ending an actual relationship. So, I know that a lot of people, especially maybe people who are not directly involved in the VTuber fandom, feels like these VTuber fans are making such a big deal, you know? They're just content creators, of course they're gonna stop at one point, which is right. But I think it might be easier to relate if we tell them, like, have you ever heard of like a K-pop idol retiring and people actually gone like cuckoo over their retirement? Like how severe it could be. It could even lead to many cases of severe reactions that includes bad stuffs, right? Or for example, have the world not wept when a really big artist or public figure pass away? Like, for example, maybe a singer that is like known worldwide. I think everybody weeps for them, even if you don't really know them. It's sad because they're really big. So even if we don't actually follow them, we probably know a song or two, or at least their name, and it makes us sad to see that someone that big just stops creating, right? So it's even worse, I feel, with VTubers because we are streamers. So we have a more direct interaction with our viewers compared to, let's say, music artists. When idols have like handshake events, which includes an actual interaction with their fans, but I feel like streaming in a way is more intense because when the streamer streams a lot, then the interaction is also more frequent, and hence we have a higher level of parasocial interaction and hence a higher level of parasocial relationship, I might say. So, well, of course it would hit you harder. Like, imagine with, let's say, bigger music groups, you don't even know them, you love their music, and yet when they go away, they hit you emotionally hard. Like, imagine VTubers, they are there, like they're streaming almost every day in a week, and you see them a lot. You actually they actually reply to your comments and react to your comments. Of course it's going to hurt when they are going to stop their activities, you know? Right? Yeah, our brains also don't really know the difference between real and fake things that we see or feel. It doesn't really differentiate between real or fake. It feels what it feels, like the chemicals in our brain. Very weird. Right? So that is actually it. That's all, folks. I think that explains it's really a simple explanation, but I feel like we miss that explanation a lot. Like, a lot of people seem to talk a lot about parasocial relationship, and sometimes even, I think, in a wrong light, but they never talk about the consequences of parasocial relationship and anything deeper than the surface level. So parasocial breakups also exist, and it happens when your favorite series ends, when your VTuber graduates. I just want you to remember that it's normal to feel something, and it's not necessarily bad. Because I have to say though, any good entertainment is emotionally engaging. Any good book, good movie, good streamers are emotionally engaging, and with emotional engagements will come emotional consequences towards the end of a series or anything happening to the characters, right? So it's very normal to feel a little down when, well, a VTuber graduates. Just wanted to say that. I think, as is with a normal relationship, all you can do is to take that buffer period to prepare yourself and kind of accept the truth and the fact as it starts to fade away. Eventually, time will heal.
10.000 dari Galang. Pesan, terima kasih atas seminar terakhirnya Ibu Jeba.
Terima kasih juga. Time will heal you eventually, and it's going to hurt less even faster, because again, it's a parasocial relationship. One day you're gonna wake up and you realize that whatever happens, this phase, it has ended, and that there's an option for you to just seek new entertainment, which is a good thing. I think that's positive. Whether you view somebody simply because you want to pass time, or you actively choose to engage with them, or even if you're lonely, I hope you realize that there's an option to seek for new entertainment. You just have to let things pass, the emotions and everything included. Right? Oke, nanti di akhir kelas PowerPoint-nya bakal dibagikan, Bu. Betul, akan dibagikan. Okay, now that we are finished with the presentation itself, we are going to move forward to the little Q&A session. I have saved several models. However, I don't know, I don't know how much I can answer, but let's try. Let me just save some more models. This morning there were only like around 4 models. So I'm just gonna save a little bit more. I think like we can also discuss from chat too, but let me just read like these models first and then chat. Ooh, let me save it. Wait a sec. Very professional. I am sorry. Okay, I'm here. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, PowerPoint. Aha. Found it. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 models in total. Let's start with the first one. Ta-da! Okay. Selamat siang, Jeba. Bagaimana tanggapan Zia untuk viewers atau fans yang belum bisa move on dari parasocial relationship dengan Oshinya meskipun Oshinya sudah graduate? Sekian pertanyaan saya, tolong dijawab. Terima kasih pertanyaannya ya, Anon. Let me translate that to English for a bit. So, good afternoon, Jeba. How is your opinion on viewers or fans that haven't been able to move on from their parasocial relationship with their Oshi, even though their Oshi has already graduated? That's all. Please answer. Well, I feel like that's normal. It's really similar to a normal relationship, right? So, for example, sometimes when you break up with your a romantic partner, it's going to take one side longer to move on. Or sometimes some people just never move on from their ex at all. Which I think that's a bad thing, by the way. It shouldn't happen in any kind of relationship, whether it's parasocial or just a normal relationship. You should not ever be able to not move on, huh? You should never not move on. Yeah. Because that's just emotionally not okay, and that might have something to do with your emotional attachment. So I have talked about this before in my previous parasocial relationship stream, but there is a correlation between the intensity of a parasocial relationship and attachment styles. You know how when a person grows up, they grow up with certain attachment styles depending on how they are educated, they grew up in their family. So some people have a healthier attachment style and some others the less healthier ones. That will form you not only that will form you as an adult in the future, not only in a normal relationship but also in a parasocial relationship. There's also a research regarding this, like how attachment styles actually affect the intensity of a parasocial breakup. I didn't include it in this presentation because I think that would warrant like a whole topic in and of itself. And sadly, again, I feel like there are less recent researches in parasocial breakups. I feel like a research pre-pandemic on parasocial breakup and post-pandemic parasocial breakup would be different, because the emotional consequences and the levels of loneliness, what people feel during the pandemic, I think that really changed people's perspectives and how they feel towards a parasocial relationship. So I feel like there's not enough research that could actually cover the whole topic. But basically, attachment styles aside, it's normal that sometimes it's really hard to move on from a relationship, even if it's parasocial. Maybe they just tick all your boxes and you like them so much, and then you realize that there's nobody's going to ever be the same. I feel like, again, it's unhealthy, and if possible, you should start to slowly move on, you know? But even if you can't, do know that you can still seek new entertainment without replacing the people you usually like. I also feel the same in relationships. Like, you can start a new relationship without forgetting or erasing how you feel in the last one. It doesn't mean you're still in love with your ex. It just means that you are starting a new relationship acknowledging that it's not going to feel the same as is with your ex, and that is fine. It's the same with parasocial relationship. You can seek new entertainment. You can search for a new oshi without feeling that you are going to forget your oshi or you are trying to replace them, because they're just not the same, you know? Right? Just don't mention your ex to your new partner. Yeah, that's just a big red flag. Just don't mention your ex to your new partner. That is like the common sense, yeah? Yeah. So that's it. Semoga menjawab ya. I hope that answers the question. I feel that you're implying that a person would normally be fine outside or before a given relationship. That's often the case, but not always. Again, that depends on each person, which that is not a problem of the relationship itself. It's the problem of the person themselves, which is a different topic altogether. Because if we're talking about the person and how they are, not specifically just about the relationship, then that's a different topic. Yeah. Specifically in a relationship, like I said, always remember that whatever you do to move on, it doesn't mean that you're erasing what has happened. It's still there. It's just not the same, and you need to accept that it's not. Yeah. So, next model then. Okay, feel free to skip this one if it is too sensitive of a topic. Okay, I might. Let's read first. As morbid as this sounds, when an entertainer, singer, or movie star, for example, dies, there's some of their last works can be posthumously. Oh, you mean enjoyed posthumously, yeah. For graduated VTubers, normally nothing related to them is ever released posthumously. My question is, why is this the case? Is it more due to legal or emotional reasons? This is a good question, and I think I can answer this. Wait a minute, don't let me drink. The throat, it itches. Hello! I'm back. Okay, so this is actually a really good question, and I think I can answer this. The reason that I'm going to have to answer, it's legal reasons. Although there is a possibility that it is also emotional, but legally and ethically, especially for VTubers that are affiliated with an agency, their whole existence belongs to the agency. So when an agency VTuber decides to graduate, that means they are letting go of their whole existence along with their graduation. They are usually not allowed to appear at all anymore because they have erased their whole existence. It is legally not allowed to appear and or speak on behalf of the VTuber after a graduation. I can say this even though I'm an agency VTuber because I feel like this is common sense, first of all. Second of all, this is work, which needs professionalism, and this is a professional answer. Third of all, it's in the contract, which is also not written that I can't talk about the specifics of the contract of the contract. I'm sorry, Stefan. I hope this is okay. But, yeah, so it's mostly due to legal reasons. But, also, I think it's, for continuity. When an entertainer stops creating stuff, usually it's because they retire completely or they pass away. So when you say posthumously, they can't really have a say or think about their past contents anymore, right? But for content creators like VTubers, even after they have graduated, there are cases where they'd like to continue creating something somewhere. They would like to still make something without attaching their identities to their new ones. And I feel like it's bad manners in general to mention about their previous existence or work in their new one. Besides legal reasons, obviously it's emotional reasons. Yeah, it's basically let the dead rest, you know? Let dead people die. Leave them in their graves. Don't mention them. That's what that's how it should be. Yeah. And I feel like it's really rude to mention. Well, it's not just about VTubers. Let's say that there's a YouTuber, not even a VTuber, and they used to make let's say they used to make Free Fire contents because they liked Free Fire when they were young. They became really big and then they got older, and as they got older, they're less interested in Free Fire and they wanted to rebrand themselves. They want to start making contents that are more adult. They like different games, they like different things, different jokes nowadays. So they kind of want to bury their old identity and stop making Free Fire contents altogether. For example, right? In this, there are a lot of cases of YouTubers who does that, right? Like rebranding their whole thing, even changing usernames, even changing channels. I feel like it's really rude if after they do all those things, you go to their new content and then you comment, "Hey, you're that old Free Fire content creator. I used to really like you," and then you like recite their old jokes. In general, I think that's just rude. Because there's a reason why they want to restart everything and just delete their channels, right? You understand that in that context, right? It's the same with VTubers. It's actually the same with any content creators ever. It's just not... There must be a reason why they separate their contents or change their identity. And it would be best that you respect that reason, whatever it is, whether it's legal or emotional, just respect that, you know? So, yeah, that's just the explanation in a very simple manner, really. I hope that answers to the question, though. Yeah? From the view of fans, channel deletion means the company won't still be getting revenue from the performer. I feel like I don't know how it works in other places, but I think at least here in NIJISANJI, the super chat would be turned off, and so is other donation sites. So there's no way for you to actually gain revenue even if I keep my archives up. You know how there are ads in streams? I rarely have them on. Even if they're on, I don't get anything from it because like you need like millions of views to actually make money just from viewing, from ads. it doesn't feel like anything, the ads. So if it's me personally, the reason why I'm not going to keep all my archives is as simple as I don't want to what's it called? I don't want my casket to be open, if that makes sense. I feel like with my contents up there in the air, all of it public forever, I feel like it's like having an open casket forever. I want it closed. Yeah. I hope that makes sense though. Yeah, I hope that answers the question, Sanon. Thank you for the maro. Let's move on to the next one. So, next one is, how does it feel to prepare for your graduation stream? What are your main worries? Sorry if I made you feel sad or uncomfortable. No, I don't feel sad or uncomfortable at all. Don't worry. When I decided I would like to graduate, that means I'm ready for the consequences, the questions and everything. Really, so the topic of the graduation itself, it doesn't make me feel anything unless you are deliberately trying to hurt me, which is a different thing. So how does it feel? It feels very weird really. Even though I said all those things before, I really do feel like for VTubers, graduation is kind of like a big thing, because you are literally erasing your whole existence. So it feels weird preparing all these things knowing that you're just going to not see it ever again in the future, and you are not going to contribute anything ever again in the future. Yeah, it literally feels like with every stream, one person is like scoping this bag of dirt on top of my face. And as the days gone by, I'm getting even more buried. But that's just how it is. That's it. If I have to say, my main worries is that I'm afraid of having regrets, like I couldn't do my best in my very last moments, which unfortunately I have been sick the past week, so I haven't been doing my maximum, my best. I am still sick, like my voice is still not fully recovered, but it's better now. So I'm doing my best. Thumbs up. What? I just coughed. Okay. I hope that answers the question. So sorry for the weird answer, and thank you for the question, Anan. Next up. Zia, sorry if this is a bit unrelated question, but from a VTuber perspective, what will they miss the most when they graduate? What will they miss the most when they graduate? I feel like I would miss my viewers the most, because I don't know if it's the same with, I think it is the same with anybody else really, but maybe it's not, but well, I stream as just me, little old me, right? So it's just me being me, streaming as me, technically. So having people that follows me and likes me feels like having people who accept me as who I am. Very parasocial. and makes me feel like it's okay for me to exist and to do what I like. So after all of this stops, I'm gonna have to just remember that and move on, I guess, which would be pretty heavy. Yeah. Kinda parasocial of you, Miss Streamer. Again, the parasocial relationship, it works both ways. Not only viewers to content creators, but content creators to viewers as well. This is already explained in my previous stream about parasocial relationship, by the way. Also because basically me and the kernels, me and my cornfields, this is a community I've built the past 3.5 years. Really, when you work somewhere for 3.5 years, you get really close with the employees there, of course, with your co-workers, and with your clients. So it's the same thing here. My community has been there for as long as I've streamed. So I am really attached, really. I'm really attached to you guys as a whole. Yeah. Is this a response to the controversy? No, I am not responding to any controversy or anything at all. This kind of topics are the kinds of topics that I have been talking about for a very long time, and this is pre-planned a month before this happens. The moment I announce my graduation officially, I have already have this in my plans. So it is not in response to any kind of controversies at all, sorry. So I hope that answers the question though. So yeah, obviously what I will miss the most is, well, my viewers. Because everything else I carry with me, the experience, the connections, I guess, that I've built during my time here, the skills that I've gained, everything, the confidence too. I am taking all of them, but my viewers, not really. So I think that's like the thing that I miss the most. I will miss the most. Yep. It's in response to the controversy of Zia breaking up with me. You can think of it that way. Uzia, apakah Maronya masih menerima pertanyaan? Kebetulan masih baru kepikiran. Ya, silahkan kirim saja. Okay, next up. Oh, this is pretty long. Okay. Maybe after the VTubers graduation, I would be sad to think that VTuber will disappear from my world forever. It would be nice if the VTuber who graduated could post news on social media from time to time, but it must be difficult due to various contract problems, right? Even so, the graduated VTuber is still living in that world, so I'm going to overcome my sadness and support the VTuber. Zia Cornelia, you are special and always make me laugh and smile. I will remember you forever. I'm sorry for my poor English. Don't worry, it's good English. I have already answered this before too, with the previous questions, but again, it should not be possible for a graduated VTuber to appear as themselves because of legal reasons. Legal reasons being their existence already owned and cut off by whoever owns them. So yeah, it's not possible. But thank you so much for supporting me all this time, and thank you for still supporting me. It means a lot, really. I think it really means a lot to somebody when, I don't know, I feel like when a VTuber is about to graduate, that's when people are starts to notice them again, which is kind of sad. But it really means a lot if you guys would support them up to their very end. Yeah. It means a lot to me too, by the way. So thank you so much for the model, Anon. Thank you so much. Next. Okay. This one is okay. Let's see if I can answer this. Okay, let me read this. Hi Zia, I want to know your opinion about VTubers that are graduating like it is the real end of their career, but turns out they are reincarnating or redebuting later, be it secretly, impliedly, or publicly announced by the VTuber's new persona. Do you think it is like playing with their fans' feelings? I imagine it is like a couple trying to reconcile post-breakup, or unknowingly attracted to someone that turns out to be your ex. This is funny. Unknowingly attracted to someone turns out to be your ex. Interesting. But might I add that even with your ex changes all the time. So there is a reason. In a let's say in a like in a normal relationship, when you break up with your ex, there would usually be a reason why. You know, for example, maybe they are childish, or maybe you just don't have the same views as them anymore, whatever it is. It also signifies that your ex is changing in a way, whether it fits you or not. I feel like VTubers that reincarnates, they are basically kind of your ex, but now they're like a different person altogether. I think logically it's going to feel like that. My ex changed her legal identity. My ex got plastic surgery and then I fell in love again. New light novel. Yeah, it's like your ex changes. They're a person. They're always gonna change. So is your favorite VTuber, I guess. But always remember that no matter whatever you call it, they're not the same person anymore. They're dead. So even if you find somebody with a similar personality or voice, they're just not the same person, and I would like you to remember that forever. That's the ghost of your ex. That's not your ex. They're a different person. I'm so sorry. You know how there's usually a story trope of lovers over time and space and multiple timelines? But like, in every reincarnation, it's actually all different people. So even if you feel like they have the same soul, they are still different people. So never forget about that. Right? I do not think it's like playing with their fans' feelings, although that is also possible. But I would like to say that it's just business mostly. I know, it's kind of sad, but it is. You gotta accept the fact that content creating is not easy. And in the end, some of those are just business, really. You just wanna carry whatever you can carry over. You know? Get all the privileges from the get-go. Yeah. So in an extent, it's just new game plus in content creating business. Yeah. I hope that's understandable. And really, when I say it's all business, I don't mean it negatively. It's just how it is, really. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you so much. I hope that answers the question too, Maruano. Next up. Okay, oh, this is the last one of the Marus actually. I feel like somebody said that they just sent me new Marus, so I'm
50.000
gonna check it
dari
out.
Ruki Yahya Vedakter. Pesan, kalau gak ada Zia mungkin aku gak akan bisa jadi VTuber sekarang. Thank you for being my panutan.
Wah, terima kasih juga. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Okay, let me just refresh my model for a bit and let's see if there are more questions. There is a lot of questions. Okay, let me just download it one by one. Okay. Okay. Waduh. 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 Berat sekali. This is pretty heavy. Wait, let me just think about this before I download and show this on stream. Okay. Let me just download those. This one's funny. There's like one funny question. Okay, let's see. Whoop! Gonna add them. Berarti berapa kilogram? Gak tau nih, lumayan. Wait, why do I only have 2? Ah, okay. Got it. So there are 3 new models. Where are you? Why is the model not here? The model, it is not showing. Oh, network error. Oh, why does it keep going network error? Stop! Ah, okay, got it. Sorry, my connection's a little crappy. I think it's back now. Okay, next models. We are moving on to the next models. The next 3. We start with the most... We start with the most interesting question, really. Can you have a parasocial relationship with a non-humanoid object? Is patriotism a parasocial relationship? Is Alexandria Library burning the oldest recorded case of a parasocial breakup? This is very heavy. By the way, I'm gonna read all donations at the end of the stream, okay? Nanti semua dono ya bacanya di akhir ya. This is interesting, and I don't know the answer to this, honestly. I think you can have a parasocial relationship with a non-humanoid object, much like how some people have a relationship with a non-humanoid object. Have you heard of the person who fell in love with the Eiffel Tower? Yeah, I think that's possible. Please give an example of what do you mean by having a parasocial relationship with a non-humanoid object? Oh, like the guy who married Miku. Oh yeah, that is definitely a parasocial relationship. Yeah, and I think, do you know that penguin? That penguin in that Japan zoo? It's really sad. The one that already passed away. Yeah, that's non-humanoid. That's not an object, but technically we all have a parasocial relationship with it. Yeah, Grape-kun. Yeah. I'm sad. Yeah, I don't think he's humanoid, but we do have a parasocial relation. I've never seen him in my life. Like, I've seen pictures but not actual videos at all. But I felt really sad hearing the news. So I think it's very possible to have a parasocial relationship with a non-humanoid object or living thing. The thing about parasocial relationship is it needs to have an emotional... you need to have an emotional engagement, attachment to it. So when you say object, if you really have a certain emotional attachment with the object, then I guess you can have a parasocial relationship with it. Yeah. Right? So patriotism is not a parasocial relationship because that's a different topic, I feel. And Alexandria library burning, the oldest recorded case. That one is complicated and I don't know. It's oh my god. Alexandria library burning is sad, but I don't know if that counts as a parasocial breakup. It's probably less a parasocial breakup and more of a having humanity's greatest achievements burned down, which would make any grown man cry, honestly. Right? Someone laughed at libraries. I mean, I would. So, I think this is a different case altogether again. But that's an interesting question. Thank you, Anon. Let's move on to the next tomato. So, this motto said, if the distinction between parasocial and other types of relationships is getting blurrier, what do you think is the thing that defines parasocial relationships? So, specifically parasocial relationships, what differentiates a parasocial relationship with a social relationship? Yes, it's in my old presentation, but just saying, reiterating, it's the interaction. It's one-sided still. Because, well, in streaming it's 1.5-sided, so it's not quite two-sided interactions. It's not quite one way. We're kind of replying to each other right now. I'm reading your comments and you're listening to me. But it's not really direct interaction either, so it's not two-way either. But I think as long as it's not a two-way interaction, I think that's a parasocial relationship. Yeah. For example, if you are in love with, you have a crush on somebody you haven't talked to in 10 years, I would actually kinda count that as a parasocial relationships. Because even if you knew them after 10 years, do you really think you still know them? Isn't that just in your head? Isn't that a fictional relationship you make in your head? Right? It's entirely built on your imagination. Actually, being in love with somebody for 10 years without actually meeting or interacting much with them is worse than having a parasocial relationship with a streamer. At least with a streamer, it's an actual interaction, but with somebody in your head for many, many years that you just don't contact at all, it's just... Is that even a relationship? Isn't that just delusion? You're just delusional? I'm sorry, it's the truth though. So I'm sorry for killing you guys. I'm so sorry. Yeah, just kidding. That's a parasocial relationship. Just like having a relationship with your favorite fictional character. For example, you have your favorite anime character. Maybe you like I don't know who likes who. You like Power from Chainsaw Man. You have an emotional attachment to them, and if
10.000
no
dari
spoilers,
pesan Butmo Osana Najimi Love Zea.
Okay. Like, for example, not saying any spoilers, but for example, Power from Chainsaw Man, if they are removed from the show, and because you're attached to them, you're gonna feel a parasocial breakup. Hence, that means you had a parasocial relationship, feelings towards that character. Just saying. It's not a spoiler, it's an as if. It's an if. It's our if guys. If. Just saying, I haven't finished Chainsaw Man, so no spoilers. So yeah, any kind of relationship when it's with somebody fictional, somebody you don't really interact with in a proper two-way kind of interaction, that is a parasocial relationship. You with your favorite Instagram influencer, that's parasocial. We know that the Instagram influencer is real, but do you actually interact with them? No, that's parasocial. You with your favorite streamer, do you actually interact with them? Sure, but do you actually interact in a two-way conversation with them? Not really, not quite. So that's parasocial. Again, and I would like to also underline again and again, as I've said in my previous stream about parasocial relationship, parasocial relationships are not inherently bad. It does start as a negative research, as in it stems from problems. So it's mostly researched because of the problems that arises from it. But nowadays, it's seen as a more acceptable and respectable form of relationship. Again, as things develop, entertainment technology, things starts to shift. So parasocial relationship isn't all negative, isn't inherently bad anymore. It's actually normal and it happens on an everyday basis. It doesn't mean that like big L because VTubers, oh weird, parasocial. It's just that it's normal to build a parasocial relationship when you are emotionally engaged to something you really like, that's all. Which is very normal, yeah? So that's it. I hope that answers this question too. Thank you for the Maro Anon. Next, this one is pretty long. It's in Bahasa Indonesia, so I'm gonna read it in Indonesian first, and then I'm going to translate it into English. So, selamat siang Bu Zeba. Setahun sebelumnya saya memutuskan untuk memotong interaksi, tidak lihat tweet, tidak lihat stream, dan sebagainya dengan Oshi kesayangan karena perasaan ingin memiliki yang tidak terkendali. Tentu saja saya sadar ini tidak sehat, makanya memutuskan untuk full putus kontak. Sayangnya setelah berpikir bahwa saya sudah sehat untuk kembali menikmati konten Oshi saya ini, saya malah dikejutkan kalau ia akan graduate. Jujur, karena udah puasa konten selama 1 tahun, saya nggak merasa apa-apa dan berharap yang terbaik untuknya. Tapi saya jadi merasa bersalah karena mengambil langkah memutus kontak selama setahun. Gimana ya Bu Zebra? Saya jadi bingung. Thanks, katanya. Waduh. Wow, this is pretty heavy. Let me translate that into English. So good afternoon, Zia. A year ago, I decided to stop interacting, as in not looking at their tweets, not viewing their streams, etc. with my favorite Oshi because of an uncontrollable urge to want to own them, like as in a relationship. Of course, I realized that it is unhealthy, and that is why I decided to stop having any kind of contact with them. Sadly, after a while, I started to think that maybe I'm okay enough to go back and enjoy my Oshi's content. I am instead surprised by the fact that they are going to graduate. Honestly, because I have not been seeing their contents for about a year, I don't really feel anything, and I just wish for the best for them. But at the same time, I feel guilty because I feel guilty for taking that step of like cutting contacts for that whole year. What should I do? I'm confused. Thanks. Okay. Guy went on a pilgrimage to keep himself from being yandere. Props though, props to this guy. Really healthy, by the way. I feel like this is okay. I don't know what the problem is. I honestly don't know what the problem is. Saya tidak tahu ya, kamu di sini mau flexing aja atau gimana? Kalau cuma mau flexing boleh sih ditepuk tanganin. If you're here to flex, I'm going to give you a clap because this is great. Like, I don't see where the problem is. Like, nice flex, but where's the problem? Okay, so you have done you have shown a great self-control and decision making by choosing to stop a parasocial relationship once it gets unhealthy. That it deserves a big props from everybody. Really, that's very reasonable and very healthy, very good. So because you took that break, karena kamu udah nggak nonton setahun, you start even when your oshi that you used to be very obsessed with is about to graduate, you don't feel a thing, and you just wish the best. Isn't that good? I don't think you need to feel guilty. I think you are trying to feel guilty, but you don't actually feel anything. Again, you have taken a distance. Kamu sudah ambil jarak dari konten orang ini kan? Ya berarti kamu sebenarnya udah gak ngerasa apa-apa, tapi kamu pingin ngerasa guilty karena dulu kamu suka sama orang ini. I feel like you wanna feel guilty. You wanna feel the emotions, but you can't because you've taken your distance from the content. Yeah, I think you feel guilty because you don't feel much. I feel like you don't have to. You don't have to force yourself to feel anything. Some people think that an emotional reaction is what is right. Like when you really like something, you're supposed to feel a lot of stuffs and be like extremely crazy about that certain stuff to show that you really like them. But I feel like that's not the case. You can truly like something and you have supported them for a very long time and not have a strong emotional reaction to them, especially because you have your own life, which is very healthy, very good. You don't have to feel guilty, really. It's okay. I think as long as in their very last moments, at least you stay to support your oshi to the very end, that would be more than enough. You don't have to feel anything negative. You don't have to feel guilty for not feeling anything. You just need to kind of support them for one last time. That's all. Yeah, I think that's enough. Ya mungkin sedikit FOMO ya karena tidak sedih, tapi tidak perlu FOMO karena langkah yang kamu ambil ini menurut saya sudah benar ya, sudah sehat. Jadi kamu tidak perlu berusaha merasa bersalah atau balik lagi ke perasaan kamu yang semula. Toh yang ini lebih sehat dan kamu punya kehidupan kan ya? Ya. One last hurrah for old time's sake. Exactly, yeah. Sometimes it is what it is. So it is what it is. Yeah. I think I kind of understand though because I'm the type of person that no matter how much I like something or somebody, I take an emotional distance from them usually because I'm a very emotional person and I realize that. So I try not to be overly invested in something because I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to move on. So as much as I like something, I always maintain an emotional distance to it so that it doesn't have too many drawbacks if anything happens to it. That is my decision. Sometimes I feel like this envy towards the people who could be very invested and emotionally engaged, like going crazy over their favorite series, having something new. Well, I have those moments too, but just I feel like mine is not as intense as some other people. And people going crazy over their favorite characters. I have that phase. I feel that occasionally, but just not as strong, right? So sometimes I feel this huge envy whenever I see somebody being very emotional over something, whether it's anger to the point they want to defend them on the internet, or like this huge like that it would turn their day upside down if something a good news happens. Like that kind of emotional engagement, in a way I feel like it's amazing and I respect that. But I know that I personally won't be able to live like that. So I deliberately take a certain kind of distance from even the things that I like the most. Yeah. People with passion is so bright. I know, right? I have passion, but I take some kind of distance so that my flame don't burn me inside out, turn me into ash the next day, you know. It happened at one point, like I'm really invested in something and like it burns me so bright I'm just depressed the next week. I'm that extreme. That's why I need to take conscious measures, you know. So I still feel that envy, that flashes of envy nowadays, but at the same time, I know and I realize that this is what's best for me, so I don't really feel like I need to feel anything anymore. I feel things when I want to feel things. I feel things when I want to feel things, if I want to feel things. The rest of them, I just go by my day normally. Begitulah. That's it. So I hope it answers your question, Sanon. So in my opinion, I think what you're doing is okay. You don't need to feel guilty for not feeling much. It's okay to feel as you feel. Even if you don't feel as extreme as some people do, what you had and what you have with your Oshi, that is your experience, your unique experience, and yours only, and nobody else gets to define that, and that's okay. Your relationship with whatever you like is your own unique experience, and nobody else gets to define that. You have your own process, you have your own intensity of feelings, you have your own memories, attachments to them, and it's okay as it is. So that's it actually for all the models. I hope that answers most of your questions. I think for the rest, we can just discuss stuffs from chat.
50.000 dari Subaru Natsuki. Pesan, Zia, apakah hubungan kita termasuk parasocial?
Siapa itu Subaru Natsuki? Aku nggak kenal. But anyways, anything else you guys would want to discuss in the comments? We can start reading. We can read chat. We can read chat. Yeah. Yeah, anything else? Boleh refresh model? Oh, boleh. Somebody asked me to refresh the model, so I will refresh my model for a bit. Please wait. Okay. Okay, I like this. I like this question. Okay, let me just download these. For the reason. This is funny. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna save these 2 models. The rest of them I feel are not questions, so I'm not going to. Oh, nice supa! Thank you for the aka supa. Thank you so much. Oh, that's a lot of supa. Thank you so much. So I'm going to save these 2 models because the rest of them are not really questions. So I'm not going to put them in, but don't worry because I'm reading them. I'm reading all the models. I'm just going to put in questions. Here it is, the last 2 models. Greetings, Miss Zia. Wish you a sweet last days. Related with second model, I'm not the one who said it by the way. What's your opinion about old fans that discovered their beloved content creator with a new persona? I believe old fans are welcomed, but there are things they must or must not do aside from mentioning anything related with content creator's old persona. Do the old fans need to change their appearance too in form of respecting the content creator's new persona? Thanks. I think this is more of a subjective. Whatever answer I'm going to give out is going to be mostly subjective. Because besides the legal reasonings and the obvious, respect by not mentioning old persona kind of thing, the rest of it is preference. Do the old fans need to change their appearance in form of respecting the content creator's new persona? If your appearance somehow, for example, your profile picture, your icons, your username, or your header reflects the streamer's old persona that they don't want to or cannot mention for reasons, then it would be respectfully please change, because obviously that's just, I think that's just the most morally correct thing to do. Yeah. Yeah, for example, this again, let's take that Free Fire example. This guy used to create Free Fire contents and had many memes made out of his Free Fire content, but now he doesn't want to make Free Fire contents anymore and has even tried not to mention about it at all in his new account. But then you came and your header and profile picture is his old Free Fire memes. That's gonna make him feel a little like, right? It's just common sense to just, if you wanna follow the new contents of the content creator, just don't use the old stuffs, yeah? Right. So, yeah, that is it. I feel like in certain cases, the best thing to do is when your favorite content creator decided to start with a fresh new slate, then the most respectful thing you can do is to follow them, as in you also start with a fresh new slate. That would be the best. Isn't that why people have like a specific account for fandoms? Like, this account is for Genshin fandom, this account is for VTuber. I think that some people have specific accounts exactly for that reason. Yeah, right? So I feel like old fans would be very welcome as long as you guys respect them, like the new content creator, and have common sense. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else you need to do. Obviously, talking about their past activities are a no-no. Like, that irks people, I'm just telling you. Which is, next model would explain it even better. See, I would like to post an analogy to ponder about. If you'll excuse me, Filthy Frank and Joji, do you think they're the same? See, I think I have read somewhere several times that Joji would not like to have his Filthy Frank past mentioned too much. This is a good freaking example. This is a good freaking example, okay? So, You know how Joji doesn't want Filthy Frank to be mentioned a little too much in his new career? He still suffers from Filthy Frank though. Like, people are still mentioning Filthy Frank all the time towards Joji. It's like annoying. If I were him, I'd be just a teensy wee bit annoyed kind of thing. Not even teensy wee bit. Zen, makasih udah mampir. I moment banget, ya kan? Ya kan? Ya, makanya. A lot of those memes are never going away, right? It's never going to away. It's going to stay in the internet forever, but I mean, if you're actually his fans, the least you could do is not to use those memes in front of his face, I feel. Right? He still respects the old Filthy Frank fans and even takes pics of peeps who show up in the pink guy stuffs. That's cute though. That's cute though. That's cute because maybe it feels like some people are still supporting him from way back when until now. But him personally, he wouldn't touch the same stuffs anymore, you know? So just they're like, do you think they're the same? I feel like he's trying to brand them as totally different people, so they are not the same. But yeah, I think this is a nice example. This is a nice answer / example for this motto. It answers each other perfectly. Yeah. Yeah. I find Filthy Frank 5 years after his last video. Yeah, oh. Now it's Joji. No more Papa Franco. Yeah. So that is it. Even though it's clear he's done with Filthy Frank, some weirdos tried canceling him over his past stuff. Yeah, that also happens. Like, there's some reason people make mistakes. Like, the world keeps on the rules of the world, it keeps on changing, it keeps on improving, yeah? So there are some things we might have done or said in the past that would stay in the records forever, but at the time we didn't know better. Not even just us, like the people around us also didn't know better, because at the time it was not a thing. It's so easy to be getting cancelled over something you've done in the past nowadays, even though things change all the time. Like, what's currently accepted as common or like even not allowed to be not widely accepted anymore. It's not the same today as it is like 10 years ago, right? So some reasons, part of a reason why some people decide to just erase almost all of their contents is probably because they also feel like maybe I've done or said something really bad in the past that I don't want to remember, or I might not even remember because at the time it wasn't a thing, and they just don't want it to hinder them in their future activities, you know? I mean, I realized that there are some words I have said in the past that I didn't know that it was bad. Because, again, English is not my first language. Even in Indonesian, I feel like I've said bad stuffs because I didn't know that it's not nice. So, yeah, it's something to think about, you know? Yeah. So that's it. Unfortunately, now if you make a mistake while being young, the internet makes sure it follows you forever. I know. The internet is really scary, like really scary. The idea of history being erased like that still feels sad. It is, but if it makes the content creator feel safer, why not? You know, rather than them getting flamed over a thing they did 15 years ago. Right? And that is all, actually. That is all for the models. Anything else you guys would like to discuss from the comments? We can still discuss it. We still have some time. Hasn't been 2 hours yet. So we still have extra time, really.
10.000 dari Zuniar, pesan. Apakah Zia Cornelia itu nyata? Thanks BGT udah jelasin soal parasocial relationship.
Wah, terima kasih juga Zuniar. Zia Cornelia itu sangat nyata, bro. What about the Rugrats? What do you mean the Rugrats? What's with the Rugrats? Berapa hari ini sering gempa? Oh iya, kalian safe, aman-aman ya, yang hati-hati yang kena gempa. Are we sure that's all the marshmallows? There are some other marshmallows, but they're not in the form of questions, so I didn't download them. And I'm not gonna answer off topic, Maru. Yeah, that is too off topic, by the way. Yeah, I think that's all. Now that the Mars ended, how did you feel about the Automatalk series coming to an end? I think it's okay. I think like out of all the contents I've done in my channel, which are mostly just silly ones, I spend most dedication and time to my Automatalk series because I don't want to spread the wrong information. And also I feel like this is the only time I would get a stage big enough to actually talk about the more important topics like mental health and parasocial relationship. After this, I'm pretty sure I won't ever get the chance to stand in a stage as big with as many audience, so I feel like this is the only chance I'd have in saying what I have to say and explaining what I have to know about these things, you know? Right? Automatalk is one of your defining contents. Thank you. This is nice and informative. I hope it helps. I know that most of these are probably common sense. The thing about psychology, I feel, is that most of it is common sense. Like when you listen to the theories, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's actually normal. Yeah, that makes sense. Like that's supposed to make sense. That just makes sense. Like how did I not think about it like this before? That's just how it is, you know? It's nothing complicated after we talk about it, really, but now that we actually talked about it out loud and in the form of, well, people actually researching about it, you start to feel like, oh yeah, this is actually it, you know? Yeah. You talk like you'd be a great teacher or mother. Whew! Thank you! Wow, that's a very heavy responsibility. Yeah, sometimes people get lost in the fog of everything going on. That is true. I feel that too. I know that people understand about these kinds of things, but somehow, I feel like the internet is noisy in a way that it creates noise all the time. It's always on. So sometimes you get distracted and you forget about even the most simplest things like this. And it's really helpful for us to just sit down and take a little time to just think about this really clearly like this and discuss about it. So can we judge whether you can grad or not? Oh yeah, because this is a seminar. This is a thesis defense. Please, tell me, did I pass? Can I graduate now? Can I graduate now? Am I passing? Passing gas? Funny. I'm sorry. Let's poll? No, people are gonna be bullies and they're gonna say I'm not graduating. Summa cum laude, thank you. Wisudanya tanggal 14, betul. Wisudanya tanggal 14 ya. My graduation ceremony is gonna be at the 14th. So anyways, that is all then. If there's nothing more we would like to discuss together, that is all for this stream about Parasocial Breakup. Yay! Tapi kok dikubur dulu sebelum graduate? Lumayan lah, biar ada acara-acaranya gitu. Yeah, did you shop the photo? Did you Photoshop the holes into them? Nah, it exists like that in Irasutoya, as it is. Funny, right? Hey. Will you be okay without us? Will you survive? Of course I will. Who do you guys think you guys are? I know that I said that my viewers are the thing I'm gonna miss the most, but it doesn't mean I'm not gonna survive on my own. I'm like pretty much a very grown automaton. Yeah. Okay then, I'm going to read all the don't-knows from earlier and say my thanks. Please wait a bit. I'm gonna start from Sociabuzz. From Sociabuzz, thank you Pisang Goreng. Thank you Galang. Thank you Rukiahya. Thank you someone. Nol soalnya, it's nothing. There's no name. And then thank you Subaru Natsuki. Thank you Zuniar. Thank you so much sudah mendonasi lewat Sociabuzz. Next up, from Supacha and Streamlabs. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Edzathoth. Thank you for this pacha. Thank you for the membacha, Fataleto. Thank you, Midnight Carnival member, for the supacha. Thank you, Astro Vera, Anime Shong Chianiru. Thank you so much for this pacha. Thank you, Lector Amatus, for the super chat too. And thank you, Rude Brad Ra, for the donation. Thank you so much. Then thank you, Steve Mahar, for the Akas Panay Supa. Thank you so much. Be careful not to spend all your money on me. Save them for yourselves and buy yourselves some good foods and some nice warm drinks. Ya, apakah Zia akan ke planet lain atau stay di bumi setelah agak? Nanti kita omonginnya nanti ya. Okay, so thank you so much everybody for watching this stream. I hope it helps define some things and explain some things. And I hope I spoke clearly enough. As you can hear, my voice is still a little bit scrunkly, but I'm doing my best. Less coughing, right? Which is pretty good. And don't forget to spread the word of this stream, because it might save somebody. It might help somebody, hopefully, a little bit. Thank you so much everybody, and see you guys again later tonight, because tonight I will have a Minecraft tour. I mean burial ritual along with many other XID NIJISANJI XID livers. And after that, if the others are still playing, I'm also going to join Taka, Yofi, and Amichia's Monhan. So a lot of stream today, a lot of streams. Thank you so much everybody, and see you guys again later on. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Bye bye.